Welcome to the third season of the What's Your Story podcast with your host, Ron Caughlin. This podcast dives into the exciting world of AI for marketers. Each episode, we chat with some of the top marketing leaders and educators who are using AI to transform their strategies. Get ready to discover how AI is revolutionizing marketing and learn how you can leverage these powerful tools to help grow your business and career. We look forward to you joining us for an exciting discussion each week about the power of AI.
Well, hi, everybody. It's Ron Caughlin back again for the What's Your Story podcast. And as you're aware, this year we are really diving into an amazing topic, which is kind of shaking up the marketing world, which is AI and how it's changing everybody's jobs. And everybody seems to be a little worried about it. But at the same time, every platform we have is really responding to this. And we need to kind of get into a discussion about this. So this podcast is a weekly podcast. I invite you all to subscribe. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, as well as on YouTube now. So if you have a chance, please subscribe to the podcast, and I welcome you all to do that. Now, today we have a really important guest. We've known each other for quite some time now. We were professors. He still is a professor at George Brown College. I'm one now at George Brown College, but Youssef is quite a marketer. He's also the chair of a very important organization, but I can't necessarily do it well. So Youssef, welcome. Why don't you explain a little bit about yourself and your background and what you're up to lately?
Hi, Ron. It's a pleasure to be with you again and with your audience. My name is Youssef Youssef. I'm professor at Humber College. I was working for the marketing degree for a long time, and that's where we met each other, me and Ron, and we met each other also in another institution that Ron helped to build up as a board member, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Management of Ontario, the only chartered institute in Ontario, and it's a not-for-profit organization aiming at making the world a better place through marketing. Now, not in spite of marketing, and I am now the chair of the board of directors, and we're really very interested in learning how artificial intelligence is impacting the marketing profession and what the future will be looking like. As a background, I am an academic and practitioner. I have been marketing director, chief marketing officer in companies, but also I have an academic after my professional life. I went through the academic career, and I have a PhD in knowledge management and postdoctoral studies in business administration from Carleton University, and my PhD was from Brazil. I'm Brazilian citizen, born and raised, and then now I'm proud Canadian citizen for 16 years.
Very good. Well, welcome today, Youssef. So to start us off, why don't you tell me how you think AI is truly changing the digital landscape? What do you think? What's going on out there?
Listen, changing the digital landscape is a very modest statement, in my opinion, Ron.
Okay.
It is creating a revolution, and we are still trying to understand the impact of this revolution, but we are start to see also the reverberation of this revolution, specifically and especially in the marketing profession. Yesterday, just to give you an example, yesterday I was playing with a couple of friends of mine. I'm very curious. I like testing different technologies, especially as you mentioned, we are in classrooms, so we need also to adapt. And I tried a song, and I just prompted a song. It's the app. There are a couple of apps that I was testing, but the one that I tested yesterday was AI song. And then I asked to create a song in many different languages and the melody and everything else. And AI in 2 minutes came with that. So I was thinking, okay, this is really impactful. Like we're not concerned now with the creative industry, although we should be. But I mean, in 2 minutes, it gives you with a proper script all the needed. I mean, the melody, all the copywriting and the lyrics, of course. So I was reflecting on that, and I said, okay, what's going to be looking like within the marketing industry, given that most of our colleagues that I've been talking to, from practitioner to academics are using it for research purposes as an aid, and our practitioner friends from agencies and marketers, they're using it for different purposes to come with new ideas or to test proof their concept. Of course, the knowledge is there. So it's a revolution, and it's a revolution that some are saying that will be similar to the internet revolution, to the electricity revolution. I think it will have a really deep impact, not only on the way we practice our profession, but at the same time in our own identity as human beings and member of the society as a whole. And this is what is concerning to a certain extent, because of course it will double, triple, quadruple our productivity. It will impact in marketing. I'm talking about specifically marketing. It will impact the profession, and we like routine activities. Copywriting will not take 1 day, especially for English speaking people, second language speaking people like me. I mean, English is my second language.
Yeah.
But everybody can be benefiting from, like, refining or using the editing. But the knowledge needs to be there, so what is written, given that AI is still in stage of developmental stage where hallucination can happen and misinformation and things like that. So you need to have the knowledge. But in terms of productivity, Eric Schmidt, a former Google CEO, was talking about doubling, and I think it will be tripling. I've been talking to colleagues from the marketing profession that said, well, it used for me to create an email and create a template of email to for e-marketing purposes, whatever. It used to take me say half an hour just by looking at. Now I ask artificial intelligence to give me some templates, and I edit the template, I make it work my way, and then I can do it in 10 minutes. So these are the things that we're witnessing. But it is deeper than that, and I guess along the way we will be discovering, Ron, what impact this is bringing to humanity as a whole and to the society specifically speaking.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, if you think about human nature is to make things easier and easier, and we're finding that a little bit in our classrooms, I would say, with students using the tool and professing that they wrote a marketing plan by themselves, and really maybe a small part of it was their own writing, but if you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, I do. And this is another concern.
Yeah. However, from the education perspective, I'm not sure we can really stop it or affect it. And so we have been talking a lot at George Brown specifically about really embracing it, because the only way for us to truly keep up with technology and where this is going is to embrace it. They're going to use it, and it's very hard to catch it, for one thing. So now, question for you. There are a lot of tools out there to train, staff or students on how to use AI. Are you aware of any, and are you using any in your classroom, or could you give us some enlightenment on that?
Yeah, well, I'm going back to it's inevitable to embrace the technology. I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
I think our students' adoption rate was far faster than faculty adoption rate, and we had our skepticism. Of course, there are many academic issues that we need to look after. I mean, we're bound by a contract with the society, especially through the Ministry of Education, Colleges and Education. So we need to follow. I'm talking about Ontario, of course, in this context here. So we need to follow the rules. But at the same time, as you mentioned properly, Ron, I mean, the students embraced it so rapidly. I wasn't sure if we can keep pace with on one side technology, on the other side the academic misconduct rules, and I'm sure that all of us educators we need to look at this I think there is a new definition for academic misconduct. We need to come with something very new, given that we know that large language models, they have no respect for people's, copyrights and intellectual property. So I think we're moving to uncharted territory. I'm sure that we will find the solution in the future. But regarding the tools, I mean, there are so many, and it depends what we're talking about. But the one that I like the most is, well, I'm using a couple of them for video generation, for example. There is InVideo AI. It's all subscription, unfortunately. I mean, it is. So what that this generation is short term oriented, and then there's attention span is not as much as the previous generations. And to read a case study is always something that is challenging. So I've changed my approach to my classroom. I'm really rethinking it deeply, and I'm using problem-based learning in my classes. Students are allowed to use ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama 3, and other tools that are available. So after that, they need to defend their ideas, to defend the concepts that they were using, and having a debate in class. So everything has changed in my classroom, and then the case studies are not written anymore, are video case studies. So and remember, you're from the marketing profession too. How long would it take us to prepare like 5 minutes video, well, you copyrighted and then honed, and
it's
all
costly
the things
too. It's costly.
And very costly.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2 minutes I was able to prompt it. Well, of course, I used Llama 3 and other tools just to give the idea to create the prompt. Llama 3 or Gemini or all of them are good. They create the script for the case study, and you review the case study. Then you transfer this prompt to InVideo AI, and then InVideo AI creates a video exactly talking to that case with all the imagery selected on and self-selected. That's incredible in 2 minutes. And I'm not saying that it is as professional as what we are used to, but it's enough for us to showcase in our classroom and trigger a very interesting debate about that. So these are one of the tools that I'm using. I'm also using GPT-0, and again, subscription based. It gives you the idea about how much AI is in there when our students have their essays written or their assignment. I mean, we need to change our assessment methodologies for sure, and I'm looking after that to learn from my colleagues and like you and others. But the idea is just to think that our students are coming with 100% essay there on their own. I think that would be unfair. And then to be fair to them too, I'm outspoken about artificial intelligence and impact on the cognitive systems and our cognition and alternative realities and so on. And one day I got contacted by a copywriter through LinkedIn, and he's 25 years copywriter. And he said, Youssef, I think you don't understand what's going on in our market. And I said, well, so illuminate me, tell me. He said, well, I've been into this for, he said, 25 years now. I consider myself a professional who has written a lot of wonderful pieces. Now I see these tools as a fantastic aiding tools that help me to foster my work and improve my productivity. The quality is mine because I am the one who's reviewing these things, but productivity wise, I can't tell you how much it's been helpful. So I looked around and said, okay, so if these professionals of 25 years professionals saying that, is that fair for me to not allow my students to use it? Right. And the industry is using it widely. I mean, these are tools that will be used and are being used by the industry. Everybody is advocating for their wider use. No matter what we think about all the constraints that we believe in, whether we're talking about academic misconduct or we're talking about intellectual property or talking about learning itself, industry is using it widely. If our students are not able to learn how to use these tools for their benefit, are they going to be likely successful in their job? So that's why, like, I've refurbished my whole class. I've introduced video, cartoons. I mean, I even have a chatbot for answering trivial questions about exams, assignment. You know those.
Yeah.
So it's in all AI based. So these are tools that I am using, and you have no idea how much fun I'm having in teaching these classes and the students too. Like for 3 hours, you know how it used to be. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as we can innovate, you need to deliver your presentation. Now it's not like that anymore. We have a problem that we need to solve. It's video based. You have other tools. You have artificial intelligence. So the students are enjoying the class. Now, how the learning is happening, I need to measure this later on to see, you know, if
Yeah.
the industry will approve our students or not. But for instance, these are the things that I'm using.
Well, interestingly enough, you said InVideo .io, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I introduce a bunch of tools through a great video on YouTube, of all places. And then I ask them to pick one of the tools, and they all pick InVideo AI. And I give them, it's an in-class, I guess I call it a lab.
Yeah.
And that by the end of the class, they have to create a 15-second ad with the tools they have available to them at that time. And then I reflect at the end, what did you learn from all this? And the big haha is that human intervention is definitely needed, right? Opposed to
Yeah.
you can't just say create an ad for Pepsi, and it's going to
No,
create an ad for Pepsi. It doesn't.
no.
It does, but it's not going to be what you want.
Well,
So
not now. I mean, maybe
yeah,
in the future,
yeah,
not now at this stage. I agree with you.
yeah.
You need the knowledge. You need the knowledge. And this is what most professionals are saying that I've been talking to. I mean, saying, listen, instead of open up with or coming with some ideas, I make the AI LLM model generate these ideas, and then I decide, and then they may come up with some kickstarts things, and then I look at it and I put my hands on and I stamp on it and I modify whatever I need to modify. But the timing there, these routine things, stupid things that I need to do, they're not needed anymore because I can focus much more on critical thinking. And this is, I think, the scope, critical thinking. I'm not sure until when that will continue the thing, but I mean, at this stage of the evolution of the artificial intelligence, I think human knowledge and critical thinking is still very important.
So one of the things, CIMMO, which is the Chartered Institute for Marketing Management Organization in Ontario, you have provided various courses for people to get certified. Have you thought about adding any type of AI development training as part of your program in there?
Well, the team is working. You know, now I'm the chair. We have new
Yes.
president and a new team. Of course, we are. I'm
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah, to all of us.
Yeah.
You know, so now the executives at CIMMO, they're very skilled. I mean, including a PhD in neuroscience
Yeah.
has just joined the team. I am sure that they are preparing something, but what we are looking at CIMMO now is this transformation of the marketing profession from all standpoint. Of course, we will assist through our certification process or designation process our members and the marketing professionals in general to navigate this new wave and make sure that it's not wave, it's a tsunami, but I mean to survive. But what we're doing is just preparing also new packages, new courses uh, to describe or to reflect the new marketing profession. And the new marketing profession, for sure, is much less focused on things that are routinely done by marketers, like you mentioned, videos, video production, and listen. I mean, you have Midjourney, for example, in our production. I mean, we have so many things. Yesterday, I was looking at an advertisement created for McDonald's, totally generated by AI. A lot of personas that have millions of followers are on uh, social media, TikTok and Instagram and so on. So we need to prepare our marketers for this new reality. In one hand, helping them to understand what these tools are all about, and sometimes getting their feedback as well, because they are much more advanced in certain ways. And also do some research to make sure that we keep our humanity and consumers safe. So we have this intersection between what marketers are doing through technology, what customers are expecting, and companies, how all of this ecosystem would benefit. So yes, we are preparing some courses. They are working on them, but at the same time, we are reflecting how the new face of marketing will be looking like. How is the marketing professional will be looking like next year? We're not talking about 10 years from now. And those students that are having classes with us, they will be facing these realities outside. So it's not only for those who are in the marketplace, and unfortunately, some of them will lose their job. I am very much concerned about the marketing agencies, for example, creative process. What AI is
Copywriters specifically.
copywriters,
Yeah.
video generation. I think content generation in general, art production. But I think what AI is doing is unleashing the individual potential. So, I was thinking yesterday, if I can create the music that I like with the lyrics that I like, so I have my own radio station, why would I be listening to elsewhere?
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we start with Spotify. People have a selection of music. Now I can ask AI to create musics in the genre that I like, with the content that I mean, and I have my own station. Uh, Similarly, in social media, I can create the persona. So we are moving from liquid reality, where the blurring, space between the digital persona and the physical persona is through social media was kind of confusing. Now I think we're moving towards artificial reality, where we can individually recreate the ecosystem that we, with all the bells and whistles, and live within it. And that's the social consequences of this, or the impact of this. It will be measured for sure by social scientists and so on. But for marketers, it's terrifying what's going on, and I don't want to scare anyone, but I mean, uh, it's complex, and the consequences are happening now.
Yes.
So what about tomorrow? And that's one of our obligations at CIMMO, is to
Okay.
think about how tomorrow will be looking like, and how can we help these professionals to get not only certified but ready for this new reality.
That's very true. Now, you've said something about your own song list. On Spotify, for example, they have X now. I don't know if you've been introduced to X,
No.
but what X is you can agree to it, and X becomes your own personal disc jockey. And
Oh.
X will choose songs based on your algorithm, what you've listened to in the past, what X thinks you might want to listen to. And
Yeah.
I thought that was a bit funny. I didn't necessarily want to listen to X, but recently I'm listening to X, and he's getting it right. So,
Yeah,
but
please
but
mention.
the only thing that I'm not sure about is the voice they used. I was kind of like, why did you pick that voice for me? But other than that,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. So
I'm sure, I hope that Elon Musk will not be unhappy about them using the X,
yes.
trademark. Anyway, but yeah, that's how things are going. And
Yeah.
then in the classroom too, Ron, uh, I tell my students, like, and then they get surprised. They say, okay, you don't need me anymore. You don't need the faculty anymore.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, so what do you mean? I said, okay, the information is out there. And artificial intelligence now, I'm not talking about LLMs, but I mean, there are artificial intelligence much more than LLMs, as we know. So there are algorithms that will analyze the best way of students learning, and then they will deliver and adjust content for them to them. So the delivery process will be not, one brush paints all, but it will be very directed towards their learning, their way of learning. And I can't do that. I like we do our best in classroom, but we're talking about personalized learning platforms. Uh, I'm not sure. I'm sure that you received from Pearson. I got an email from Pearson saying, "Hey, we have added also artificial intelligence that will summarize textbook. Will do." So, I mean, why students need textbook at all? I mean, they don't
Yeah.
need any
No,
textbook
they don't.
anymore.
Well, they're not
It's
buying them either. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You, you nailed it
yeah,
in the head.
yeah.
I mean, why do they need that? I don't think they need textbooks anymore. Uh, I was concerned as a researcher about research, and now we have tools in research. Most
Mm.
platforms, I mean, they offer these platforms that can help to summarize or literature review, whatever. Oh my goodness! And this is happening in less than 2 years, Ron. Uh,
I know
I
it's.
mean, yeah.
I've heard it said it's the Wild West right now of AI because
Oh,
we're right in the middle of it and we don't know where we're going to land. But it's true.
and
No.
yeah, and those the fathers of this technology or the godfathers are they have rang the alarm bell, and they have said many times, listen, uh, this will have consequences on the way we live, on the way we look at things, on the way, and people are not listening.
Mm-mm.
Of course, as you said, I mean, there's no reverse. We're moving forward. This is something that's happening, like the internet, electricity, car, whatever, everything that happened in our evolutionary process. The problem is that we do not understand the consequences because we have no control after all. Algorithms learn on their own. We don't have bells and whistles as we used to have. So we lost control. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're all talking about now. How the future will be looking like, only God knows. I am very optimistic, but I hope like we figure out ways to deal with this tsunami, as you mentioned, Ron. It's
Yeah.
especially marketers. Like the most benefited from this are marketers, but the most impacted are marketers too, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of the students who are leaving today are going to need these skills. Uh, Now they're picking it up on their own, but at the same time, I'm finding they don't necessarily know that. Now, as an educator, for example, using AI as a learning tool in the classroom, as you said, can be very engaging. So one of the things that I've been tasked with at George Brown is to do a research study on AI as a learning tool to measure it as a tool in the classroom in terms of engagement levels and satisfaction levels. Um, I'm going to be doing this study over the next year, but I do believe you're going to find there's going to be a high level of satisfaction.
Yeah,
But it also depends on, I think, what you're doing and how you use it and how you're using it in the classroom overall. Now, the other thing which is intriguing, I don't know if you've heard of, but Google has really upped their game. A lot of their certification courses they have online have
yeah,
now they don't exist anymore. But the one that does exist is called Essential AI Essentials, Google's AI Essentials, and
yeah,
this is a great tool for individuals just to get a basic knowledge on many different areas of AI, so that they can speak the language, so to speak.
yeah.
And so I don't know if you've heard of that or not.
Yes, I've heard. I mean, actually, that's this Google move, and then they were moving every year, but now they've changed everything because I
Yeah.
teach a digital and social marketing class at
Mm-hmm.
Humber, and my student in this class used to get all Google certifications, Google Analytics,
Mm-hmm.
Google, all the Google certifications. And every year I look at the certifications, what happened, and this year I need to
They're
change
gone.
everything. So they need it's gone. So they
Yeah.
need to go to to this new certification, which
Yeah.
will be beneficial to them.
Yeah.
But yes, it's getting crazy. Well, and then my now I have a concern too because not all faculty are ready for this reality.
Mm-hmm.
Some are like technology friendly, but some are not. They come from different
True.
areas, right? I mean, we in marketing we have this familiarity with technology because we've been using technology for a long time. Whether we're talking about Adobe or CRMs, whatever the technology that we're talking about, like it has been a facilitator of our lives. The problem when it comes for social scientists or political scientists or other scientists, I mean, or other professions, and especially faculty, they will need a lot of help to digest all of this volume of things that is happening. And also, like I mentioned, some of the tools, Nvidio.io, as you mentioned, it's a paid feature. I mean, you can have a free one. I mean,
Yeah, there's a
but
free version. Yeah.
yeah, but if you go to that professional scale and you want to make your class really a distinctive one with all the creative processes that you want to introduce, you need to use some tools that are expensive, and so you need training to use these tools, as you're doing at George Brown, for example, selecting some of these tools and then measuring the impact and so on. But you need also the support to purchase these tools so you can deploy in your classroom. For example, um, GPT-0, which is one of the tools that are used now and to detect plagiarism. They have implemented a feedback, so you can send back to your students saying, "Hey, can you work this out or work that?" But it's a paid one, like it's at $200 and some a year. So you sum all of these, you end up paying 3,500, depending on what you want to do, a year for these tools. So you need help with the tools, you need help with the training, and you need to be patient with those faculty who are not 100% familiar with that.
That's very true. The same was true even with the new LMS system, right? When a new
Yeah,
LMS system comes in,
yeah,
some pick it up quickly, some don't. But you're absolutely right.
yeah.
Now, we're getting near the end of our discussion today. It's been really great. I'm going to have to pick your brain on some of the things you're doing in the classroom and beg and borrow.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Like let's share notes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But what kind of one last parting note can you give everybody on the kind of, if you had a global, like a crystal ball, I should say, that you would make a prediction in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you think we're going to be in industry and in education? What do you think, this big crystal ball out there?
I hope I have the crystal ball, but I mean, based on my research, and I've done tons of research, and on this very evolution of AI, the predictions are really sometimes alarming. Very few people are like saying, no, well, we're good, we're safe. I mean, the major impact is on our cognition. Uh, uh, we, as you know, our mind or our brain was set to be lazy, saving a lot of energy in every activity. And that's why we believe in BS. I'm sorry to use this harsh language on your
That's
podcast.
okay.
Fake news on
Yeah.
social media, because we trust the source, and trust is something that has been lost now. So like arithmetic, it's used in our time. I would say that we used to do things. Right now, the calculator has been introduced, the GPS has been introduced, and we rely on them much more than we rely on our accuracy or natural navigation system. I think our cognition, human cognition, will be very deeply affected by AI. We will outsource some of our intelligentsia, I guess, as we are doing right now. I mean, when we cease to write things, although we have the expertise, but our intimacy with this content is being gradually waning. So what I think is it's going to happen is that we will be gradually be replaced by artificial general intelligence. That's what we are. I think, and I've said that on my social media. We've passed this Turing test. I think artificial intelligence is intelligent enough to do certain tasks that humans are doing now. Not all tasks, certainly, but in the future, I think we will see more and more dependency on artificial intelligence. Not that it will replace humans, but it will take over a lot of routine activities, and hopefully we will find the balance between the tool and keeping our cognition very safe, and critical thinking, which is the element that
Mhm.
will will keep us alive for longer time. Um, I have I have had a discussion with Llama 3. Llama 3, you can download. This is individual. You can create your own individual training.
Yeah.
And I spent hours just interviewing Llama 3, and you'd be surprised with the answer that I got. Of course, some may say these are hallucinations, these are prediction machines, and so on. This is a huge discussion in the scientific community. But I'm concerned about our cognition mainly, how in 10 years, our thought process will be, critical thinking will be, of course, everything else will be changed. Some professions will not exist anymore, like radiologist, copywriter, a lot of things that, video creation. I mean, we will have a lot of automation, but I hope the quintessential element of life, which is humans, they need to find their way to balance this equation and not depend too much on artificial intelligence, so we can still strive for the next century.
We need to still smell the roses and
Oh, yes.
go for hikes and everything else.
For
right?
heaven's sakes, come on,
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much for a great discussion today.
My pleasure. Thank
As
you.
always, very insightful and not surprised from the chair of CIMMO, obviously. But once again, thanks again.
My pleasure.
And so this is the What's Your Story podcast with a focus this year on AI technology and how it's changing the workplace. Please remember to like, share this channel, and subscribe. We're on both the YouTube, on Spotify, Google Podcast, iTunes, and National Radio Public in the US. So thanks, everybody, and you have a great day, Youssef. Bye for now.
Thank you. Have a great day, Ron. Bye.